the Clintons had a say in Power Rangers music? Wow.
Yeah.
Ron, it is such a pleasure to talk to you and welcome you back to Power Rangers with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always with the music. Really
Thank you very
appreciate it.
much. I love that collection you have back there.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
I have like four things. I think I have the gloves that if you went like this, they sang the song. And then I have a
nice.
watch that has the song. A couple of the toys, I think. But my favorite thing is I have the original press box before the show was ever launched. And it's just a press kit. And I've never even opened it. It's a little box. It just says Power Rangers on it. I'm just holding on to that stuff. It's somewhere in the house. One of these days I'll open it up and see what's on the inside. I'm leaving that stuff for my son. I'll probably sign it and say, go to Pawn Stars and
yeah. I'll look forward to the next Morphicon.
Get a new car.
Yeah. So I definitely want to talk about your history with Power Rangers, but let's talk about this special first. What brought you back? Like, what was sort of the process of you coming back to do music for this particular special? And how did it feel making music for Power Rangers 30 years after the original?
You know, they emailed me last July and said, we would love to have you back for this and explain what they were doing. And I think, I thought about it for about 2 seconds and replied and said, I'm in, count me in. We're excited about it. And then when I got the episode in December and started scoring it, it was so different in so many ways from the original. So I loved it. This just felt like a new project. Felt like scoring a completely different project that the Power Rangers just happened to be in.
So even though it's the characters that you knew, you're like, I'm treating this like a brand new thing.
Brand new.
And that's really cool. Yeah, there's a little bit more drama in this one, compared to what we've seen with the original series. There's a little bit of different tones throughout. There's still a little bit of that Power Rangers comedy, but there's definitely some very dramatic or sad tones that, you had to mix in.
With all the years of experience and all the stuff I've scored, it was easy to go from the action down to the extreme tragedy. I've scored enough sad scenes in my life to know how to underscore that just right without getting in anybody's way. And then boom, we're back to action. And then it would be fun when I could pull up the guitars and do the great old rock stuff.
I got to go back to the past a little bit because you made one of the most iconic theme songs that we know. Go, Go Power Rangers.
I had spent my first 3 years at Saban mixing stuff for other composers and submitting stuff for their direct-to-home video stuff. But once X-Men was done, then I was the only guy, the only composer. I was doing everything. So when they walked in that evening and said, we need a theme to present to Fox tomorrow, maybe use the word go because Saban had so much luck with the word from Go Go Gadget. Yeah. So they said, hey, use that. And literally, I just sat at the keyboard and came up with the riff. And the whole thing was done in 2.5 hours, including the vocals, which the next day when they called and they said Fox loved it, I asked who are we going to get to sing it. And they said, no, Fox loves it. When that happens, you don't even touch the mix. It's done. So I went, okay, now I'm a singer. Another thing. I just learned that if I filled up a glass with ice cold Diet Pepsi and would gargle it, it would tighten my vocal cords and I could get that raspy sound out.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's wild that you were winning this, just not even thinking you're going to sing it, to now you have this library of Power Rangers songs. Yeah. I used to actually have the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rock Adventure, the cassette. Right. And then I've listened, of course, to your Redux CD of all the songs. These songs, man, some of these songs, I just Fight, Combat, We Need a Hero, 5 for 1, all these songs are so great. We'll take them down.
I think we were a month in and Haim Saban had decided it would be a good idea to have a song under some of the fight scenes. So the appropriate first word to use was fight. So that was the first one, then combat. They decided to start throwing the songs in and I got into it and I was a total rock star in the studio. I have performance anxiety live. Named the singer Aaron Waters. My middle name is Aaron and Wasserman is Waterman. So I could yell, literally have a character to yell at. Like, what are you thinking? That sucked. Let's do it again. And then Saban threw in this Mighty Raw thing, which I tried to fight him on, but which just confused everything. But those songs were incredibly fun to write, and none of them were hard to do. They just came to me. But that's one of the things I've been blessed with, is the ability to write melodies quickly that are catchy, and sometimes I have to fight a bit with the lyrics, but I always find a way to fit in a bunch of words.
Oh man, it works out, man. I blast those songs still to this day. I'm like driving around just singing, "We keep dreaming of a world." I'm just all into it, man.
And each of these songs is really personal to me. I wasn't really writing so much for the show. They were about my past or stuff I was going through. And I think that honesty, just like in other songwriting, it comes through. The angst and the anger and the comedy in them was really from my soul. And some of those songs are not even about the show.
Are there a couple of ones that come to mind that you feel like sharing, of like, this song, you were hearing it in the fighting sequences, but this is what it was kind of meaning in my brain?
We Need a Hero is a perfect example. Every generation before me and somewhat of mine, there were specific heroes, there were political heroes, there were people changing things in the world, and they seem to be dissolving. So that song is literally about wishing that there was more people consistent for kids to look up to. And then another song, I Will Win. That was me saying, I will be leaving Saban because it's so much work. It's not a bad situation. It's just time to move on from that. So I was saying, I will win. I will not stop. I am going to move forward, and I'm going to have a great career outside of this place. I Know a Place, which I don't ever think made it to an album, but that was a song. And that's about a bar that was around the corner that all of us, we all worked at night. And at 10 or 11, we would pop over and have a beer at this bar and then get back to work. It's a bar song. It's a song about a bar that was around the corner from Saban called the Now Voyeur.
That's great. But you also wrote some songs that were specifically for Power Rangers, like you wrote Go Green Ranger Go.
Yes. I said, we need a theme for the Green Ranger. And, obviously I'm going to use the word go. So Go Green Ranger Go is a musical phrase. So that was pretty simple to do. Those were the easy ones. The other ones were just want another song. And then at one point it did get difficult. I forgot to mention this before, about 10 or 12 songs in, there was a lot of accusations going on that the music was causing kids to get violent. So
really? Okay.
And Haim Saban was very close to the Clintons. Clinton fundraisers were at his house. And so suddenly one day, the head of music came in and said, from this point on, I don't know if it's the Clintons or the Gores, they're asking that the songs not be so dark. No more words like fight or combat, and no more minor chords, major chords, which are a happier sound. So I had to kind of figure out how to still have a lot of action while having a big smile. Right. So that's where songs also like I Will Win, everything suddenly turns into a slightly happier feel. It was mandated by the federal government, so to speak.
That blows my mind. So the Clintons had a say in Power Rangers music? Wow.
Yeah, I think they were probably discussing it. I'm sure, because I remember Al Gore's wife was going after a lot of people doing rap and whatnot. So I'm sure it probably came from that, or it was probably suggested.
That is just an interesting conversation that I kind of want to see. I just want to see Bill Clinton talk, or Al Gore talking about the Power Rangers.
I wish I could do an imitation of Bill Clinton.
the songs. I don't.
The kids are beating up everybody. We got to. Hillary and I want you to fix that. But you just roll with it. It was a new challenge, and you just rise to the occasion. And I can guarantee you, the music's got nothing to do with their kids being violent.
Yeah, it just got you excited and hyped for what you were watching.
Yeah, that's it. It's a song.
The energy that people put into certain things, right?
Yes, brother. Absolutely. Sometimes it's a little hard to understand.
I know we're mostly focused on Power Rangers, but yeah, I do have to throw in X-Men because the music in that, of course, that song's iconic as well.
X-Men was, I didn't even know who the X-Men were. I remember originally getting some info on them, and luckily my friend who did all the sound effects on that show, he was a big comic book guy, so he gave me a summary of what it was about. The head of music had an idea for variation on a bass line that he had used with his band. I kind of took it from there, and then that took about 2 weeks because they kept coming back with notes. There was so many tracks in that thing. So they said, we can't hear the ticka 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 and the hi-hat, so turn that up. And they're like, well, now we can't hear this. So it was kind of a mixing nightmare. And I think the very last thing we added is I said, well, there's this hole. I'm going to fill it with a gong sound. Because God forbid we even have this little breath. I know I'm going to get a note saying, hey, there's about a quarter second there where there isn't a sound. And so it just went ding.
There's always some instrument going on.
Always.
Every second of that X-Men theme.
I swear to you, I think Power Rangers minus the vocals is probably like 6 or 7 tracks. And X-Men, we had 46 tracks going on that.
Wow. 46 tracks in the X-Men theme?
Yeah, it was packed.
Gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff. Like that bass is layers of keyboards, and everything is just layers and layers and layers. And dealing with tape and waiting for everything to lock up.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because, we're doing this with 90s technology. So, yeah, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, so I would sing something and I didn't like what I did. You have to roll back 30 seconds before I would punch myself in and out of record. You have to wait the 30 seconds, hope the 2 machines lock, and then you get up to it and you're on the mic. You sing the one line and punch out, hope you didn't screw that up because there's no undo.
Well, that hard work paid off. That's like one of the best cartoon theme songs, and it was worth it for all those tracks. And
yes, it was worth it.
You've kind of been in like all the different eras because you were there with Saban with Mighty Morphin, and then you came back for SPD. Power Rangers, SPD, Power Rangers to the rescue, go SPD. Which was kind of during the Disney era, and now you're back again in kind of the Hasbro era. Do you feel there's any differences one way or the other from these different times in Power Rangers working with them?
Sort of. I mean, again, the actual work itself is always a joy and always interesting to do. Disney was great to deal with, but I remember when I got the SPD theme, I said, so when do I get the first episode? Because I assumed I've got the theme, I'm going to score it. And they said, no, the theme writers are never allowed to score the show and vice versa. So I went, And then, of course, Mystic Force the following year, I wrote a rock theme for that. Power Rangers, Mystic Force. They loved it. And then they called and said, now they want a rap theme. I said, I'll try. But I said, I already know it's not going to be good. So I did. I delivered it. And the guy called me back and said, you're right. It's not good.
Oh.
It was fine. So that was pretty funny. And so it seems like every 15 years I'm back for the show. So I guess I'll be back for the 45th anniversary next.
Your music combined with what we see on screen, how that brings that energy. And I was just always curious of how that plays out.
Well, with the songs, they would get the songs first and then they would edit to the songs. The rest of the score, I just kept the energy up. And so after I did perhaps the first 20, 30 episodes. From that point on, there was such a music library. So they had a music editor dropping stuff in. So I would score an average of 9 minutes. So much work was coming in. I'd do the 9 minutes of score in one evening, then start writing a song so that I could finish that the next day. So it was a pretty intense schedule. And then they would come to me and say, my son's friend, we're going to a bar mitzvah. Could you do Go Go Billy Goldberg? You know, what? And like, okay, I'm on it, and blow out a version for that. Oh, we have a commercial, do a 25-second version.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, too hot to handle.
And then you're working on that. And then they came in with VR Troopers and Sweet Valley High.
Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley High.
They would just hand it and say, get on it. We need a theme for VR. I'm like, we are VR. Perfect. So wow. Yeah, it was fun. It was busy.
I'm sure it sounds very busy. So because of that, is doing this special Once and Always, did that feel like a little bit more self-contained of like, I don't have to think about multiple episodes or multiple projects, but like I could just focus on this one, 55-minute special and just give it the music that I want to give it?
Yes. And with the technology and the setup I have is so incredibly complicated and advanced. The technology is wonderful now. It's unlimited, whatever sound I want to create. So it's very easy to segue from something that's a little tech into something that's orchestral and then into rock. Light years ahead of what I started with.
I'll kill you before Zorda makes you Rangers.
When you were watching this one, the special, what were things that you noticed that was like, wow, I'm seeing this in Power Rangers 30 years later? Was it the dramatic aspects? Was it just seeing some of the characters come back?
It was the dramatic aspects for sure. It was a trip to see some of the actors come back. Walter killed it. I mean, I saw some of the footage before it was even cleaned up. He's still doing backflips.
I know, right?
Like, the guy's in amazing shape. So that was really impressive. It was all new footage. That was the main thing. It wasn't bouncing back between some dialogue being shot in Valencia, California, and then Japanese footage. So the quality alone was wonderful. And I thought the cinematography was good. Just the camera angles. I'm not dissing the people from the 90s. The technology's changed and you can do a lot more now. But it looked great. Yeah, it was great. And that opening on this just got me. I think they really brought this to a new level here. And with any luck, it'll go to series. Who knows?
I will love that. Would you be down if they want more? Oh, that's good.
I'm in.
I want some new Ron songs. That'd be really cool to get some new Wasserman songs out there.
I'll get them to do that. I'll say, hey, let's do some new songs.
We're talking about 30 years of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
In your opinion, why do you feel like a franchise like this has been so strong for so many years and still continues to be strong?
Because there really hasn't ever been anything like it. And I do believe at the beginning the music was part of it, and I know that changed over the years, and they did rap and they've done a lot of orchestral stuff, but there's something about this show and its consistency and the message that it delivers to people that keeps them interested and keeps them watching. What's also interesting is ever since that show, other stuff would come to me and I'd say, hey, I think it could use some energetic rock stuff, different than Power Rangers we could use. And they'd go, no, that never works. And I've heard that maybe 10 or 12 times. I said, okay, I understand. I'll do what you want. So I've never been allowed to do it on any other show. Producers or whatnot are convinced that that does not work. Even when you mention something's been going on for 12 years, 15 years, 20 years. They're like, nah, I don't think so. That's been baffling to me.
But then I guess in hindsight, that allows Power Rangers to stand out when it's music.
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of people started playing guitar with it, even though I can't play a note on guitar. It's all done on keyboard.
Well, I definitely appreciate the energy that you put into this music, both classic and today. Like to see your name pop up and to hear your music in Once and Always. You got the cast, you got voice actors coming back, and having you come back to do the music. I just want to thank you for returning and making such great music for Power Rangers, both past and present. It's been really awesome.
Oh, well, you're welcome. And it's just been a great thing in my life. And I'm really happy about it. And how lucky am I?
We're lucky to hear it. Thank you so much, Ron, for talking with me today. I really do appreciate it. This has been awesome.
Thank you so much.